to beat Tennessee 10-0 earlier this afternoon. For South Carolina, they defeated the host team 11-3 on Saturday and defeated Georgia 14-13 in what is so far the only extra inning game of the tournament. That was on Sunday. They also won on Monday, defeating a heavily favored Texas team 11-10, and then lost that game to Louisiana 10-2 on Tuesday. South Carolina defeated Alabama yesterday by a score of 9-5, and that sets up your matchup between South Carolina and Louisiana. And we will come back after this short break and we'll give your starting lineups. You're listening to coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia, and we'll be back with your starting lineups right after this.
When it comes to fast food, I don't know what's true. I got the fast food blues. When you want to lose the fast food blues, it's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, a taste that's right, so healthy and light. It's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. Chase the fast food blues away at Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. America's lightest fast food. Chicken so tender, made fresh for you. Tastes so good is what you say when you come on in to Chick-fil-A. When you want to lose the fast food blues, it's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, it's healthy and light with a taste that's right. It's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. Chase the fast food blues away at Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, it was terrible. Last night I dreamed that I didn't have HBO. I turned on the television and all the movies had commercials every 15 minutes. The series were old and had been in syndication since 1976. It was horrible. I tried every channel, but it was hopeless. I couldn't find HBO. But then I woke up. I ran to my TV, and there it was, HBO, with uncut and uninterrupted movies like A League of Their Own, Mo Money, Whispers in the Dark, and Strapped, an HBO original movie, plus top comedy series like Dream On and The Larry Sanders Show starring Gary Shandling, not to mention World Championship Boxing and Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam. Believe me, having HBO is a dream come true, but trying to live without it is a nightmare. So wake up and, get HBO.
Call Covington Cable TV 787-4444. 787-4444.
And we are back from the City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. Set to throw out the first pitch is B.C. Crowell, and B.C. Crowell has thrown out that first pitch here at tonight's championship game. B.C. Crowell, considered the father of baseball and football here in Newton County. Louisiana taking on South Carolina in this championship game of the Dixie Boys World Series. Jamie Windham is my broadcast partner for tonight's game, and he is busy over there copying down the starting lineups, and we'll get them to you in just a minute. But again, we want to tell you, this being the final broadcast and being broadcast over a major sports network, and that will be broadcast on August the 28th, but you can hear it live right here on the Dixie Boys Radio Network. Louisiana takes on South Carolina, and James Windham, you have our starting lineups for tonight's game, beginning with the visiting team, which is Louisiana, even though they're in the first base dugout.
Okay, starting off for the visiting team, Louisiana, will be Craig Dowden. He'll be pitching and leading off. Brandon Shane bats second and plays first base. Jeff Pierce, the shortstop, bats third. The cleanup hitter tonight is Terry Lawrence playing left field. Chris Broadus plays the hot corner and bats fifth. Jeremy Farah plays right field, bats sixth. Steve Knotts in the seventh position plays center field. Brad Cobb will be catching tonight and batting eighth, and John Rotent will round out the Louisiana order and play second base. Incidentally, the Louisiana All-Stars hail from Bossier, Louisiana, the Bossier Boys, as they like to call themselves. For the South Carolina All-Stars, who hail from Lexington, South Carolina, Bobby Kaufman will lead off and play center field. Stacy Shull bats second and plays second. Wade Bradley will be the pitcher, left-hander, and he'll bat third. Richie Smith will catch and bat cleanup. Devin Johnson, the third baseman, bats fifth. Justin Metz will be in left field and batting sixth. And on first base tonight will be Wes McCombs, and he'll bat seventh. Trey Spigner plays right field and bats eighth. And John S. Benson, the shortstop, will bat ninth for the South Carolina All-Stars.
Wade Bradley is on the mound for South Carolina, taking his warm-up tosses. Bradley is pretty much the ace of this South Carolina staff, and a man that South Carolina would love to have go the full way here in the championship game. Bradley pitched 3 innings in his last appearance, and that last appearance came yesterday against Alabama. Pitched 3 innings, faced 10 batters, hit the first batter he faced, and that was pretty much it. He retired 9 in a row from that point forward. but South Carolina, knowing that they would probably be in tonight's game, went ahead and pulled Wade Bradley from the game after 3 innings, so he's back tonight. Big left-hander has a good fastball and a terrific breaking ball, and he used it to effectiveness his last outing. Going to try to do it again here against Louisiana. Louisiana has put a double-digit offense on the board 4 of their 5 broadcasts, or 4 of their 5 games, and they were averaging 11 runs a game going into last night. Scored 5 runs in a game against Tennessee last night, then 10 more in a game against Tennessee today, so these boys can put the runs on the board.
And again, we talked about how this was a risky move by South Carolina to try to pull Wade Bradley and save him for tonight's game. You never knew what could happen, whether you'd get here or not, but it turned out to be a very wise move for the South Carolina All-Stars, and they have the left-hander all saved up and ready to go tonight. Maybe the best pitcher in this tournament, Kevin.
There's a distinct possibility, but South Carolina got another big break, and it happened not during a game, but after a game last night. Louisiana was taking on Tennessee. The final score 7-5 in favor of Tennessee. By virtue of that defeat of Louisiana, 3 teams had 1 loss. The Tennessee and South Carolina All-Stars had their coaches come out here to home plate last night and flip a coin to determine who would get a bye and automatically be in the championship game. The bye was won by South Carolina. Now, if South Carolina had not won that bye, they would have had to have used Bradley earlier today or risked using a lesser pitcher. But because they get the bye, Wade Bradley on the mound in South Carolina getting to play only 1 game tonight, but Louisiana looked impressive after that 10-0 victory over Tennessee.
They sure did. They totally dominated Tennessee, but however, Tennessee did contribute to the Louisiana effort with bad pitching. Unfortunately, the Tennessee pitching staff was plagued by control problems all game long, and as a result, the Louisiana All-Stars able to dispatch Tennessee in 5 short innings.
And Wade Bradley is not going to be walking a lot of Louisiana batters. That's something that they were able to do against Tennessee, take a lot of bases on balls. But Wade Bradley does not allow the free passes very often, did not allow one in his last outing. He did hit a batter in those 3 innings of work. Louisiana's first 3 batters in the first inning will be Craig Dowden, Brandon Shane, and Jeff Pierce. And they'll be due up against Wade Bradley and the South Carolina All-Stars in the championship game of the Dixie Boys World Series Tournament from Covington, Georgia. Hard to believe that this tournament is going to be over after tonight. Seems like we just started a few days ago.
It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, not so much for us, but for all the volunteers who have assembled here, and a terrific volunteer force for the Covington Newton County Recreation Commission. Really put on a good face for Covington and Newton County, and this county has shown through this tournament, Kevin.
And the crowds are here as we predicted. The crowd is pretty much at a record capacity here at the City Pond Complex in Covington.
And, of course, we are immersed right in the middle of the crowd. We're right over here behind home plate, on the third base side of home plate. You can hear the crowd noise going on around us. We are totally surrounded by the crowd. It's a great feeling to be in the middle of all this. It's really getting the adrenaline pumping. And the noise level of this crowd is starting to reach a fever pitch. This ought to be a good, exciting ball game.
You're going to hear the fans cheer with every pitch, this being the championship game. Every single pitch will matter, and the fans are going to be into it on every single pitch. So any strike, you'll hear the South Carolina fans cheering if the South Carolina folks throw the strike, and if it's a ball, you'll probably hear the Louisiana fans cheering here in the first couple of innings. It'll be Dowden, Shane, and Pierce set to lead it off, and our delay is as we get everything set up with our sports network, who is going to be broadcasting tonight's game between South Carolina and Louisiana. They were only here for the championship game, Jamie, but we have been here throughout the entire 6 days of the tournament on the Dixie Boys Radio Network. And while we're waiting here to begin the first inning, let's talk about some of the great teams that we saw other than these two here in the tournament. We've talked a lot about Louisiana and South Carolina, but there were lots of good all-star teams here.
Well, of course, Texas came out of the gates extremely hot, outscored their opponents like 24-4 in the first couple of ball games. Then they sort of fizzled and died, and that's what this tournament is all about, is to see who has the deepest ball club, who has the best pitching, who can go the longest, who has the most energy, and we see the two teams left standing right here. Of course, we talked earlier about during the first game, Louisiana played a very conservative game on the base paths. They really didn't need to play very aggressively on the base paths. Tennessee pretty much allowed them to score the runs for them. But it'll be interesting to see what the Louisiana coaching staff does tonight in this championship game, whether they'll be a lot more aggressive, whether they'll abandon that station-to-station type method that they played in the first ball game tonight and be more aggressive, see more running, more bunting, more hitting and running, depending on how much luck they have against Wade Bradley. And, of course, always a concern is how much, if any, butterflies the pitchers will have out there tonight. And Wade Bradley, a tough left-hander, but got to be a little bit nervous in this situation, Kevin.
I think if you're human, you're nervous in this situation, and Wade Bradley is out there on the mound, about set to begin the top half of the first inning. Long delay here, and many warm-up tosses being thrown by Bradley here before the first pitch is even thrown in the top half of the first inning. He's talking it over with his catcher. And the South Carolina catcher is Richie Smith. And while we're talking, Jamie, you want to run down that South Carolina defense for us?
Well, I'd be glad to, Kevin. Justin Metz plays center field. Bobby Kaufman will play, Justin Metz plays left field, pardon me. Bobby Kaufman in center field. Trey Spigner will play right field. Devin Johnson on the hot corner. John S. Benson, the shortstop. Stacy Shaw will handle the second base duties, and Wes McCombs will play first base. As you mentioned, Richie Smith, the catcher, and Wade Bradley, the left-hander, will be tonight's pitcher. For the Louisiana All-Stars, Terry Lawrence plays left field. Steve Knotts in center field. Jeremy Farah plays right field. Chris Broaddus on the hot corner. Jeff Pierce at shortstop. John Roten at second base. Brandon Shane at first. Brad Cobb catching, and Craig Dowden the pitcher.
And we are set to begin the top half of the first inning. Leading it off will be the pitcher, Craig Dowden. Dowden was the leadoff batter for Louisiana last night and also in the first game tonight. He was 2 for 4 against Tennessee earlier today with a couple of runs scored as Louisiana really laid it on Tennessee. As we talked about, Jamie, Dowden not really built like a leadoff hitter should be built.
No, he's not. He's a big, stocky right-hander, and he doesn't get down the base paths that very fast, but he does get on base. So that's what you want out of your leadoff hitter is the on-base average.
Wade Bradley into the wind. His first pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. And the cheer goes up from the Louisiana fans.
Much has been said, Kevin, about South Carolina sitting and waiting through the first game for this one. That could be counterproductive as they sit there and get more and more nervous waiting for this game to begin.
1-0 pitch is low with the fastball, 2-0.
Louisiana with the game already under their belts tonight. They might be a little more relaxed out there. And again, well, you wonder if they might be tired, but after dispatching Tennessee in 5 innings, that may not be a question.
Bradley into the wind. His 2-0 pitch is a called strike on the inside corner, 2-1. Louisiana has had a terrific tournament. Only one loss in this tournament came last night at the hands of Tennessee. Only a 2-run loss. 2-1 pitch called strike at the knees on the inside corner, 2-2.
Bradley misses on the first 2 pitches, but comes back to throw strikes. Maybe settling down, and the last thing Louisiana wants to see is Bradley find a groove.
Bradley's working quickly. His 2-2 pitch is swung and foul back to the screen, and the count remains 2-2.
He likes to work quickly, has good control. We saw him pitch 3 innings against Alabama yesterday and didn't give up a hit.
Richie Smith gives the sign to his pitcher. Bradley goes into the wind, and his pitch is swung on and popped up on the infield. Shortstop John S. Benson ranges out into center field and makes the catch for out number 1.
Dangerous play for John S. Benson and the South Carolina All-Stars as he ran into the outfield and had to make that catch with his back to the infield. Nice play for the South Carolina shortstop.
Here's the first baseman, Brandon Shane, Louisiana first baseman, wearing number 13 as a left-handed batter. Looks down at his third base coach for the sign. Not a lot of changes in the Louisiana order from that first game against Tennessee. There's a swing and a one-hopper. Stacy Shaw has it, throws on to first, pulls that first baseman off the bag. And Brandon Shane is safe and reaching. What's the official scoring there, Jamie?
E4 on a throwing error. That was a fine play defensively for Stacy Shaw to knock that ball down. It bounced right off his chest. It was a very hard hit ball from Brandon Shane. And Stacy Shaw able to knock it down, but his throw pulled Wes McCombs off the bag. He still had a play.
Here's Jeff Pierce. Louisiana shortstop in that first game against Tennessee was 3 for 4, 3 singles, and 3 runs scored. A big part of that Louisiana scoring. The stretch by Bradley, who has a great move to first base. His first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. 0-1, and Bradley is throwing heat early.
A little extra adrenaline certainly doesn't hurt that fastball, which was already pretty sneaky quick there for Wade Bradley.
Shane takes his lead off of first base. Bradley with the stretch, and he delivers off speed. Swung on and missed, 0-2.
And Jeff Pierce missed that. He was completely fooled on the pitch. He was looking for the heat, and this one was down around his ankles. He swung and missed it by about 3 feet.
So Pierce is in a hole, 0-2. Pierce, a right-handed batter, stands in. Bradley with the stretch. His 0-2 pitch swung on, grounded back to the mound. Bradley will go to second for one. Shortstop reaches across to take the throw. 1-6 on your put out on a dangerous play as Pierce reaches on the fielder's choice. Perhaps the nervousness showing through there.
That was a dangerous play, Kevin. Wade Bradley able to come up with the ball, and he wanted to get that double play done. He turned around and he threw, and the ball went on the right field side of the bag. Espenson with a nice reach, and I don't know how he managed to keep his foot on the bag, but he did, and they're 2 men out.
Again, a runner at first base. This time it's Jeff Pierce. Terry Lawrence is the hitter. Takes a called strike, 0-1. Wade Bradley has a good slide step toward home. That will hurt any Louisiana running game that they may have here in the championship game. Bradley with the stretch, and his 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, 0-2.
Bradley working quickly and throwing strikes. Perfect combination.
Wade Bradley getting ahead of Terry Lawrence. 0-2 is the count. Here's the stretch by Bradley and his 0-2 pitch in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes.
That was the same pitch that we saw Brandon Shane fooled on. This time, though, Terry Lawrence was able to lay off it. You're looking for that fastball, and this breaking ball comes down in the dirt. It is tough to lay off that pitch.
Wade Bradley concentrates tremendously, has that hat pulled down right at eye level. The 1-2 pitch swung on, grounded at the plate. Bradley will field it on a hop. He'll go to first, and Louisiana is gone here in the first inning. No runs, no hits. There was 1 South Carolina error and 1 runner left on base. And after a half an inning of play, no score from the City Pond Complex, field number 1 in Covington, Georgia. You're listening to our live broadcast of the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. Louisiana versus South Carolina. Will have more exciting baseball action for you after this.
At Food Depot, we invite you to try a new and better way of doing business. You buy the groceries at our cost, plus 10%. This week's specials include large crisp lettuce, 68 cents a head. Thompson seedless white grapes, 78 cents a pound. Soft and gentle bathroom tissue, a 4-pack for only 78 cents. Half a gallon of assorted flavors of Mayfield ice cream for only $1.79. A 4-pack of Flavor Right biscuits, sweet milk or buttermilk, 83 cents. USDA heavy western boneless round steak, $1.65 a pound. Fresh quarter loin pork chops, $1.59 a pound. And quality hamburger or hot dog buns, a 12-pack, only 63 cents. Food Depot in Covington, Conyers, and Stockbridge. The folks at Carroll Home Healthcare want you to know why they are growing so fast. It's simple. They care. They try to treat customers like family. Whether you or a loved one needs oxygen, a hospital bed, a lift chair, or just new tips on a walker, come by and get that family feeling that their customers are talking about. They're at Covington Plaza next to McDonald's. Call them at 786-2030 and find out what they can do for you. Carroll Home Healthcare, the family place, 786-2030. You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
We head to the bottom half of the first inning. Due up for South Carolina in this first inning, Bobby Kaufman, Stacy Shull, and Wade Bradley, first 3 spots in the order for South Carolina. Kaufman, the center fielder, set to lead it off. Craig Dowden was going to go into the wind, and now time is called. And we will await the first pitch to Kaufman. Having fun at the old ballpark on the championship game. And doing what we can between innings to keep ourselves well-nurtured.
Terrific crowd here tonight, Kevin, as fans can hear. People are just packed in here. The concession stands are very long. It's really exciting to see this many people out at the ballpark.
Kaufman stands in, and the first pitch is a called strike at the knees, 0-1. Bobby Kaufman for the South Carolina All-Stars was 1 for 3 yesterday against Alabama with a walk and 2 runs scored. Dowden into the wind, and the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, 0-2. Brad Cobb is the catcher in this game for Louisiana, who has a rotating system of catchers. Here's the wind, the 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Craig Dowden is throwing heat, and it's going to be ace against ace if they continue pitching like this.
Oh, this could be shaping up into a fine pitcher's battle. Again, maybe a little adrenaline helped move that fastball along for Dowden.
We will see what happens as we move to the middle innings. Here's Stacy Shull, South Carolina second baseman, standing in and swinging and fouling the first pitch. Back to the screen, 0-1.
The South Carolina All-Stars come to us from Lexington, South Carolina, about 20 minutes outside of Columbia, and we're told Bossier, Louisiana, is about 20 minutes outside of Shreveport.
So suburbs of two major cities represented here in a suburb of the city of Atlanta. The wind from Craig Dowden and the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. High heat from Craig Dowden. South Carolina batters cannot catch up, 0-2.
Dowden is throwing nothing but strikes, coming back with a fastball. Oh, a lot of smoke in this game so far.
Cobb flashes the sign to his pitcher. Shull is standing up near the front of the batter's box. The 0-2 pitch is high with the fastball, 1-2. Craig Dowden staring at his catcher. He gets the sign, goes into the wind, and the 1-2 pitch, low, 2-2. Jamie, something I was thinking about for this championship game and our position for this game being right here on the field, just a few feet away from home plate on the other side of the fence down the third baseline. Much better lighting here than there is in the press box, where the porch has no lighting inside, and you have to depend on those outside lights, which are pretty erratic. Here's the wind and the 2-2 pitch, just outside 3-2.
Well, perhaps that'll help our inside a little more.
Hopefully it will, as we bring you the championship game here on the Dixie Boys Radio Network. Full count to Stacy Shull. Dowden goes into the wind, and his payoff pitch swung on, grounded to the shortstop. Jeff Pierce has it. Fires over to first base, out number 2.
Joey Lawson, Kevin, is the manager of this South Carolina ball club. Fred Jody is handling the first base duties. And Joey Lawson's also on third base coach. Pitching coach is Glenn Snellgrove.
Here's Wade Bradley, South Carolina pitcher, also batting third in the South Carolina order. He bats as he throws from the left side. He stands in and swings at the first pitch and lines it into left field for a base hit. Now heading into the gap. Rounding first is Wade Bradley. He will head for second, and he will pull up there with a stand-up double.
Wade Bradley with a solid double all the way to the wall. That ball was hit, one of the hardest hit balls we've seen this tournament. Went all the way to the wall between Terry Lawrence, the left fielder, and Steve Knotts, the center fielder. Lawrence was able to chase it down and get the ball back to the infield, but not before Wade Bradley was standing on second base. And you know, Kevin, yesterday, Wade Bradley batted ninth in the South Carolina lineup.
And now he's back in the 3 spot in the order. Apparently, South Carolina didn't want to put a lot of pressure on Wade Bradley yesterday. They were going to try to let their other folks take care of business and then use Bradley here in tonight's game. Here's Richie Smith, South Carolina catcher. He's a right-handed batter, batting cleanup for South Carolina this evening. And Bradley takes his lead off second base. South Carolina will have to have a 2-out base hit if they want to put anything across. There's a called strike in the inside corner, 0-1. Jeff Pierce and John Roten holding the runner close at second base. Now Roten is right there on the second base bag, and Pierce very close to second base as they alternate holding the runner on. Stretch by Dowden. And the 0-1 pitch, low, 1-1. Runner heads for third base. Throw down there is in time. Caught stealing, 2-5, as Wade Bradley, being aggressive here in the first inning, is caught stealing, and that'll do it for South Carolina. No runs on one hit. That runner erased on a caught stealing. No errors, nobody left on base, and after 1 inning of play, no score. You're listening to the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. Louisiana versus South Carolina. We'll be back with more live play-by-play action after this.
The City of Covington electric system marches to the beat of a different drummer. The difference is community ownership. Because it's public power, our consumers and owners determine the cadence for electric service in this community. Everyone here is a utility owner. Public power systems are not run for profit. That means all the benefits stay in our community. Local control also means that everyone has a say in how our electric utility can help meet our community's goals. The tempo in our community is set to the needs of our public power customer owners. That's consumer protection at its best. Look at public power in a new light. After all, it's yours.
I was was at Pippin's Barbecue the other day having some pork barbecue, and it was great. But then I looked over at the next table, and they were having smoked chicken, so I ordered that too. And then I found out about the Brunswick stew, so I ordered that. And then I figured, what the heck, why not just order the whole Pippin's Barbecue menu? But I didn't, because I just didn't have the room on the table.
Our food and our service just can't be beat. You're gonna love what you eat.
Pippin's Barbecue, Highway 20 South in Conyers and on Alcovey Road in Covington.
For the Braves fans, it's the top of the fifth, Atlanta 4, New York 1.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And we head to the second inning from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. Due up for Louisiana in the second inning, Chris Broadus, Jeremy Farrer, and Steve Knotts. Spots 5, 6, and 7 in the Louisiana order. Louisiana had a couple of base runners in the first inning, but could not push a run across. South Carolina got a base runner of their own in the first inning. He was caught stealing third.
And that may be a bad omen for Louisiana, because with Wade Bradley, the way we saw him pitch yesterday, the way we've seen him come out here and pitch tonight in the first inning, you want to get him early if you're going to get him.
Got to take advantage of every base runner you have. And the batter will be Chris Broadus, Louisiana third baseman, wearing number 20. Throws go around the South Carolina infield, and we are set to begin here in the top half of the second inning.
Louisiana, Kevin, is managed by Jerry Pierce. Chester Roten and Jim Elkins join him as members of the Louisiana coaching staff.
All the infielders return to their positions, and due up first, Broadus for the Louisiana All-Stars. Chris Broadus was 1 for 3, single, reached on a fielder's choice, and walked in that first game against Tennessee. First pitch to him is a ball, 1-0. Broadus checks his third base coach for the sign. Now Bradley goes into the wind. His 1-0 pitch is swung on and popped up foul on the first base side. Right fielder coming on hard will make the catch. Trey Spigner with a nice catch out there in right field, one down.
Good running speed out there in right field by the South Carolina's Trey Spigner, able to come in and pull that fly ball in.
So with one down, here's Jeremy Farrer. Farrer, the right fielder, caught in yesterday's game, or the game earlier today as well.
And you know, Kevin, you have to wonder, along with the additional pressure of this being the championship game of the Dixie Boys World Series, as Wade Bradley sets for the first pitch.
First pitch in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, you have, along with all that additional pressure, these kids look around and they see all these cameras stationed around the field, these television cameras, and not only are the cameras there, but they light up red when they're on.
Something new for those players to deal with as the 1-0 pitch comes in low and below the knees, 2 balls and no strikes.
An additional distraction, especially with that camera box we were talking about being right in front of the visitors' dugout down the first base line, as the pitch comes in from Bradley.
And the 2-0 pitch is inside again, 3-0.
The camera, if you're a right-handed hitter and the camera is shooting you, then you have this red light in your eyes. It's got to be a little bit of a distraction.
And of course, most folks who are 13 or 14 years old wanting to get on camera any way possible. And with the red light on them, they've got to be concentrating on the pitcher and not on anything else. And this championship game is a big thing. 3 balls and no strikes to Jeremy Farrer. Bradley goes into the wind, and his crippled pitch is a called strike on the inside corner. Farrer thought it was ball 4, but it's 3-1.
Still, you wonder what this can do for these kids later on down the line. Being 13, 14 years old, handling pressure like this, you got to be able to handle just about anything.
The wind by Bradley, the 3-1 pitch, swung on, fouled off the screen down the first baseline and into one of those camera boxes down that first baseline, 3-2.
Catcher Richie Smith lost track of the ball, thought maybe he had a play on it. Hopping up out of the box real quick there, but it was into the backstop.
Devin Johnson playing on the edge of the infield grass at third base against Farrer. 3-2 pitch, again popped foul on the screen behind home plate.
Would you say Richie Smith is a little bit pumped? This time he runs over and fields it off the backstop.
Everybody's working off adrenaline in the championship game, and the crowd noise has a lot to do with that, as fans from both sides making lots of noise. 3-2 pitch is inside, ball 4. First walk given up by Wade Bradley. And it will bring up the center fielder, Steve Knotts. Knotts played in the latter half of the game earlier today against Tennessee. Went 0 for 2, grounded out, and he reached on an error.
Number 9. Good decision by the Louisiana managing to keep Knotts out of this game. As the first pitch from Bradley misses inside for a ball. This is the guy that you need to have legs. Your quickest guy out there in center field, you don't want him to run himself out in a 5-inning ball game.
Steve Knotts is a right-handed batter standing in. Standing to the back of the batter's box, swings and misses at the fastball, couldn't catch up to it, 1-1.
You know, Kevin, we also have an overflow crowd here. A lot of people gathering along the outfield fence to see this game. There just isn't any place to sit out here on the first or third base lines.
Fans have packed this all the way through. The stretch, the 1-1 pitch, foul back to the screen, and the South Carolina fans give up a cheer. It's 1-2. Unusual setup as South Carolina is the home team, but they are down at the third base dugout. Now, Louisiana was down the first base line, and they were the home team for the game earlier today, and they just decided to stay there for the nightcap. One ball and 2 strikes to Knotts, 1 down in the second inning. Louisiana still looking for their first base hit of the ball game. Bradley with the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch swung on, grounded foul down the third base line. Count remains 1-2.
That pitch took a hop toward the South Carolina dugout.
One person we'd like to mention who is here at the ball game tonight, J-Hope Branham, who had a birthday a couple of days ago, sitting over just a couple of feet away from us off to the left at the lower rail of the grandstand, as there's a pop foul into foul territory. Pitcher will call for it, and Wade Bradley will make the catch for the second out.
Two things about that foul ball, Kevin. One is it was hit about a mile high, straight up the chute. And another thing is that you usually don't see the pitcher making the play on that. You usually be called off and let the shortstop come over or the third baseman come over and grab that one. Maybe even the catcher with all that additional padding in the mitt.
Adrenaline will do weird things here in the first couple innings, and J-Hope Branham is here. He's on the South Carolina side, and apparently he came from South Carolina, as that's who he's rooting for and has been rooting for since Georgia has been eliminated from this tournament. There's a swing and a miss from Brad Cobb, 0-1.
Good point about the adrenaline flowing in Wade Bradley. This is his ball game right now. Pitching a pretty good game so far, throwing well. Has himself a double from the first inning.
Cobb bats with a closed stance, swings and fouls one right off the catcher's mask. And the catcher has to run over down to the on-deck circle to grab the ball. That'll shake you up if you're suffering from that adrenaline. No balls and 2 strikes to Brad Cobb. Runner takes his lead at first base. Jeremy Farrer is the runner down there. He reached via a free pass. Throw goes over to first base from Bradley, and the runner is back safely. Bradley has an unusual throw to first base. Sort of jumps on the mound as he takes his back foot and steps off, right at the same time stepping toward first base. Bradley with the stretch, and his 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Louisiana goes down. First strikeout for Bradley in tonight's game. No runs, no hits for Louisiana. There was a walk, and that runner was left on base. And at the end of an inning and a half of play, we are still scoreless from the City Pond Complex, field number 1 in Covington, Georgia. You're listening to our live broadcast of the championship game between Louisiana and South Carolina, and we'll be back with more play-by-play action after this.
Cable News Network brings the world into your home. Their aggressive professional reporters cover stories to their fullest, providing you the chance to witness history in the making. Whether it be the rainforest in the Amazons or the country roads of Kansas, CNN is there around the clock, breaking and updating news. Hear firsthand news that will impact today and shape tomorrow. Subscribe to the Cable News Network. Call Covington Cable TV at 787-4444. That's 787-4444 for CNN.
It's time for the hot summer clearance sale at Lane Body Shop and Marine on new and previously owned pontoons. Used pontoons starting at $3,500 and closeout prices on new pontoons. Javelin bass boats with Evinrude motors, flat-bottom aluminum boats, and pedal boats. Plus, clearance prices on all Evinrude outboard motors in stock. Hurry and buy before the 94s arrive and save. Lane Body Shop and Marine is your local boat headquarters, located at 12247 Flat Shoals Road in Covington. Phone number 786-7405 or 787-2060.
In the Braves game, it's the top of the fifth, Atlanta 6, New York 1.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
We head to the bottom half of the second inning from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. South Carolina fans stomping on the grandstands, making noise, and due up for the South Carolina team in the bottom half of the second inning. Richie Smith, Devin Johnson, and Justin Metz. First pitch to Smith is swung and grounded back to the mound on one hop, and the pitcher Dowden takes it, fires to his first baseman for out number one. And before Devin Johnson hits, let's pause for station identification on the Dixie Boys Radio Network.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
Devin Johnson stands in for the South Carolina All-Stars. Right-handed batter. And the first pitch from Dowden is inside, ball one.
Richie Smith, who just grounded out to the pitcher, was the batter at the plate when Wade Bradley was thrown out stealing at third base back to end the first inning. We wanted to get a chance to mention that, as it was a terrific throw from Brad Cobb to nail Wade Bradley at third.
That stymied that rally in the first inning. There's a swing and a pop fly. Foul territory down the third base line. It will bounce on top of the dugout or just beyond the dugout in foul territory. Down that third base line, 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
We didn't see Brad Cobb catch in the first game, as a couple of other guys caught for the Louisiana All-Stars, but it was a terrific throw from Cobb. Nailed Bradley. It was a little bit high, but it was in there in plenty of time for third baseman Chris Broadus to be able to sweep down and make the tag.
Louisiana very deep in their talent, as they have used a couple of different people at catcher, as the 1-1 pitch comes in high, 2-1. They have a guy named Mark Tyler, very big guy who did some catching, and Jeremy Farrer was the catcher in the first game, and Farrer is out in right field in tonight's game. So Louisiana, very talented. Tyler's not even in there anywhere so far in today's action. Here's the 2-1 pitch, called strike outside corner, 2-2. Devin Johnson, yesterday against Alabama, was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. Johnson, the number 5 batter, playing third base. Here's the 2-2 pitch, high, 3-2.
Louisiana also going with a center fielder who did not start the last game, Steve Knotts. So as you mentioned, a very deep ball club.
One of the reasons why Louisiana is here in the championship game is the fact that they have players that they can rotate in and out. Time is called.
And not to mention that Louisiana used 2 pitchers in the first game who combined to shut out Tennessee in the semifinals of this Dixie Boys World Series. Either one of those guys can come back in and pitch later in this ball game.
Neither Terry Lawrence nor Zach Goodman is in there, as the 3-2 pitch is low and outside, ball 4.
Lawrence pitched 3 innings, and then Zach came on and pitched 2 innings for Louisiana.
I've got to make one correction. Terry Lawrence is in the ball game. He's in left field for Louisiana. But Zach Goodman is not in there and is available at any time to go down to the bullpen and warm up.
The left fielder, number 17, Justin Metz.
Here is Justin Metz, South Carolina left fielder. Johnson takes his lead down at first base. Stretch from Dowden and a lob throw over to first base, runner back safely. And that's an interesting point, that if you have a pitcher who is on the bench, he can go down to warm up at any time. But if you have another pitcher who's out in the field, you either have to pull him from the game or you have to wait until your team's at bat. There's a swing and a line drive on one hop. Shortstop picks it up. He'll try to make the play at first, but will have no play there. The base hit puts runners at first and second with 1 down.
An infield hit for Justin Metz, as shortstop Jeff Pierce couldn't come up with. He was able to make the catch, but he didn't have a play on Justin Metz, who gets down the line pretty well. It was a one-hopper, a very hard-hit ball.
First and second, 1 down for South Carolina, and the batter will be Wes McCombs. Lexington, first baseman, standing in. The stretch first pitch from Dowden is high and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Again, South Carolina All-Stars hail from Lexington, South Carolina.
Nothing much going on at the old ballpark tonight, huh, Kevin?
Yeah, another quiet night here at the ballpark. Fans only screaming with every pitch. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, fouled back to the top of the screen and back onto the field of play right behind home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
During the commercial break, we were trying to decide who might be more pumped, the announcers or the ball players.
This is something that you can feel throughout the ballpark. The electricity here tonight is absolutely amazing. Of course, we are right in the middle of all these fans, so we can hear the noise better than anybody. Stretch in the 1-1 pitch, swung on, foul back to the screen, 1-2. Wes McCombs yesterday against Alabama was one of the big heroes for the South Carolina All-Stars. He went 3 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. And so McCombs with a perfect night helping South Carolina to the victory over Alabama. The score of that game was 9-5. Somewhere along the line, Dolly Parton's listening to us. Here's the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch hit him. And you may have heard it as it hit him right on the left shoulder. And that'll load the bases for South Carolina with only 1 down. Inside pitch probably got away from Dowden there. Last thing he wanted to do in that situation was hit McCombs.
Well, that ball was way outside, and I think McCombs might have had a shot. He might have thought he had a shot of letting it go behind his back because he wasn't trying to get out of the way the other way and let it go in front of him. So that ball was well outside. I think it just slipped away from Dowden.
Bases loaded for South Carolina. 1 down. Here's Trey Spigner. Spigner made an excellent defensive play in the top half of this inning to rob Chris Broadus of a base hit. Pitching from the stretch is Dowden. His first pitch is fouled off behind the screen. 0-1 the count to Spigner. Spigner also had a good game yesterday, going 2 for 4 with a couple of singles, an RBI, and a run scored.
Devin Johnson is your runner at third base. Kevin, Justin Metz at second, and Wes McCombs at first base.
The sacks are full of South Carolinians. And Spigner trying to bring him home. Now time called, and Dowden steps off. Louisiana is in a jam here in the bottom half of the second inning. 0-1 the count to Spigner. The stretch and the 0-1 pitch. Called strike on the inside part, 0-2. Gutsy pitching from Dowden.
Indeed, come back from, he walked a batter in this inning and hit a batsman. Try to come back in with Trey Spigner in a big RBI situation to get him in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. See what he does here.
Still only 1 down in the inning. Louisiana is playing in all the way around on the infield. Here's the stretch and the 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3 inside corner. What a breaking ball from Craig Dowden, dropping it in. And Spigner is down on strikes, and that's a big out for Louisiana.
Sure was a big pitch for Louisiana. He didn't even try to waste a pitch. Came right back with a strike to throw for a called strike 3. Now they're going to have a little bit of a conference as Brad Cobb comes out to talk to Craig Dowden.
And the Louisiana coach is out to talk to him as well. The batter will be John S. Benson, the number 9 batter in the South Carolina order. Not sure what they're talking about, facing S. Benson, who was 0 for 3 last night, and is the number 9 batter, as we mentioned, in the South Carolina order.
Certainly didn't seem to be anything wrong with the way Dowden was throwing to that last batter.
Now the Louisiana defense can play back with 2 down.
Your attention.
They have a play at any base.
Now batting for South Carolina, number 14, Sam Butler.
As I'm sure you heard it, Sam Butler is the pinch hitter for John S. Benson here in the second inning. So S. Benson didn't even get a chance to have a plate appearance, although he may re-enter in the third inning at shortstop, as he is a fine defensive shortstop. Now pitching from the windup is Dowden. His first pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Good block from Brad Cobb.
It would be a near certainty that you would see S. Benson back in the game after this half inning. S. Benson made some terrific plays at second base yesterday afternoon.
And Sam Butler's got to feel bad because Mr. Butler, if S. Benson re-enters, cannot come back into this game. Here's the pitch. High, ball 2.
However, Mr. Butler has a chance to be a hero right now with bases loaded and 2 out.
Big situation for both teams. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Brad Cobb talking it over with his pitcher, Craig Dowden. Dowden, a right-handed pitcher, has been throwing good smoke and a pretty good breaking ball as well. Devin Johnson off third base, Justin Metz off second, Wes McCombs off first. Big RBI situation for South Carolina, and Sam Butler, who grounds the ball to the first baseman. Tough play to the pitcher covering, and he is out. 3-1 on your play. Sam Butler goes down, and the South Carolina All-Stars do not score here in the second inning. They get one hit, no errors, and 3 big, huge runners left on base. And after 2 innings of play, we are still scoreless from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. You're listening to our live coverage of the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. More of Louisiana versus South Carolina right after these messages.
County, now you have a choice. That choice is Rockdale Team Sports, located in Salem Gate Shopping Center in Conyers. Rockdale Team Sports provides you with everything you'll need for baseball, softball, basketball, football, and soccer. Take advantage of our fast in-house custom lettering and screen printing. We also offer low prices, friendly service, and a complete uniform service. Rockdale Team Sports would like to congratulate all the participants in this year's Little League World Series, and especially the city of Covington.
Are you planning a special get-together with family and friends? Then do it at Pippin's Barbecue. We'll provide the food and the fun for just a few people or a large group. Or if the party's at your place, let us provide the catering while you enjoy the party. Call us ahead of time or stop by Pippin's Barbecue at both our locations.
Our food and our service just can't be beat. You're gonna love what you eat.
Pippin's Barbecue, Highway 20 South in Conyers and on Alcovey Road in Covington.
Devin Johnson had Roden played perfectly, playing well in on the grass for the South Carolina defense. Maybe expecting a bunt. It was almost like a swinging bunt. Hit a little bit harder than that. But nice play by Devin Johnson to come up with it and make the good throw over to first baseman Wes McCombs in time.
So the cue shot off the bat of John Roten turns into out number 1. And here is Craig Dowden. And third baseman Devin Johnson will stay in on that infield grass against the Louisiana leadoff batter. Bradley goes into his wind, and his first pitch is in the dirt and back to the screen, 1-0. Dowden popped out to the shortstop, John S. Benson for South Carolina, to lead off the first inning.
And we talked back during the Tennessee game about Dowden not being blessed with a lot of speed at the leadoff position, but there is no question this young man is a terrific athlete.
Dowden has pitched very well. He stands in, swings and drills one deep to left center field. Left fielder jumps, cannot make the play. One hop, it's off the wall. Rounding first is Dowden, headed for second. He'll pull in there. It'll be a stand-up double. Solidly hit baseball from Craig Dowden. Left fielder Justin Metz did all he could to try to come up with it, but it was over his head for a double.
We're seeing some very, very well-hit balls here in the first 3 innings of this game, Kevin. That time, Justin Metz, the left fielder, couldn't make a play. He ran in a little bit, misjudged it a little bit, and the ball sailed over his head, went back to the wall. Double all the way for Craig Dowden.
Runner at second base with 1 down, and Brandon Shane will be the hitter. He reached on an error by Stacy Shaw his last time. Smith gives the sign. Here's the stretch of the first pitch, called strike on the inside corner to the left-handed batter. 0-1.
Dead center field, please move out of the way.
No balls and 1 strike, the count to Brandon Shane. Stretch from Bradley and his 0-1 pitch. Swung on, popped up infield, right side, but at the left side, shortstop calls for it, makes the catch. John S. Benson has been all over the place, making catches in the infield and in the outfield, and 2 down in the top of the third.
And our listeners may have heard the announcement come over the public address system to asking the fans in center field to move away from the, there's a door, a gate out there in center field that these fans are standing behind. There's no place else for them to go to watch this game.
Unfortunately, those fans in center field may be blocking the hitter's eye as the first pitch is swung on and missed on the high heat to Jeff Pierce. Pierce, who reached on a fielder's choices last time in a hole here, 0-1. Yeah, those 4 poor fans in center field don't know where they're going to see the game from right now.
Paid to get in, and there's nowhere to sit and watch the game.
Catcher with the sign, the 0-1 pitch. Runner fakes the steal. It's low and outside, a ball and a strike.
That first pitch to Jeff Pierce, good high fastball from Wade Bradley, really drew a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd over here.
You know, Bradley really understands how to pitch. For a person his age, he can mix the pitches and the locations very well. 1-1 pitch is a fastball outside, 2-1.
Having an exceptional fastball doesn't hurt either.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been asked to announce that there'll be no flash photography while the ball is in play. Thank you very much.
2 balls and 1 strike to count to Jeff Pierce. Has rules coming down all over the place off that public address system. With the stretches, Bradley, his pitch is inside, 3-1.
Jeff Pierce didn't like that one. It came in right at his belly, and he had to jump back out of the way for that one. That was a fastball, and he sort of gave a look down to Wade Bradley. What are you trying to do, take my gut out?
But the truth is, Bradley doesn't want to walk this hitter and face Terry Lawrence, the hard-swinging cleanup batter. Here's the 3-1 pitch, swung on and missed. And boy, Pierce gave everything in that swing. Almost came off the ground trying to hit that ball so hard.
How tough is it to see a fastball in on your stomach like that and then come back and swinging the ball out in a way like that? And you mentioned about Wade Bradley having great pitching instincts.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch is swung on, popped up, first base side. Wes McCombs will call for it and make the catch. And Louisiana going down once again here in the 3rd inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We head to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Your score, 0-0 from City Pond Complex, field number 1 in Covington, Georgia. You're listening to our live broadcast of the championship game. It's Louisiana versus South Carolina, and we'll be back with more live play-by-play action after this.
At Food Depot, we invite you to try a new and better way of doing business. You buy the groceries at our cost, plus 10%. This week's specials include large crisp lettuce, 68 cents a head. Thompson seedless white grapes, 78 cents a pound. Soft and gentle bathroom tissue, a 4-pack for only 78 cents. Half a gallon of assorted flavors of Mayfield ice cream for only $1.79. A 4-pack of Flavor Right biscuits, sweet milk or buttermilk, 83 cents. USDA heavy western boneless round steak, $1.65 a pound. Fresh quarter loin pork chops, $1.59 a pound. And quality hamburger or hot dog buns, a 12-pack, only 63 cents. Food Depot in Covington, Conyers, and Stockbridge. Carroll Home Healthcare carries all your home care equipment needs. Oxygen, hospital beds, enteral feeding, walkers, commodes, lift chairs, or bath seats, we can meet your needs. We're the home with a family feeling. Medicare, Medicaid, and most insurance companies are welcome. Come by and let us meet your home care equipment needs. We're at Covington Plaza next to McDonald's. Carroll Home Healthcare, 786-2030. That's Carroll Home Healthcare, 786-2030. You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And in the bottom half of the 3rd inning in this game between Louisiana and South Carolina for the championship of Dixie Boys baseball in 1993. South Carolina will send up Bobby Kaufman, Stacy Shull, and Wade Bradley.
Kevin, these two pitchers are stamping their signatures all over this game early. Wade Bradley for South Carolina and Craig Dowden for Louisiana. Both of them pitching out of tough jams. Wade Bradley pitching out of a bases as the pitch comes in from Dowden.
Pitch is inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
And I'm a little bit too pumped up, too. Wade Bradley pitching out of a jam with the runner at second base and 1 man out back in the last half inning. And before that, Craig Dowden pitching out of a bases-loaded jam with 1 man out.
Kaufman struck out his first time up. Here's the wind and the 1-0 pitch. Outside and back to the screen, 2-0. No score, bottom half of the 3rd inning in this championship game between Louisiana and South Carolina. South Carolina All-Stars have had a spectacular tournament, including a couple of very good upsets, as here's the wind and the 2-0 pitch. Low and inside, 3-0. South Carolina won their first 2 games 11-3 and 14-13 over the host team in Georgia, respectively. As Georgia had 2 teams in the tournament, the host team with the one from Valdosta. As the 3-0 pitch comes in, and it is a called strike on the inside corner, 3-1. South Carolina didn't have a whole lot of respect until Monday night when they defeated Texas 11-10. Then everybody knew that South Carolina was for real. They are here in the championship game taking on Louisiana. Craig Dowden on the mound for the Bossier All-Stars. Pitch is swung and popped up. The catcher will have a play on it, and Brad Cobb makes the catch for out number 1.
Now batting number 21, the second baseman, Stacy Scholl.
Here is Stacy Scholl, who grounded to the shortstop, Jeff Pierce's last time.
Both pitchers now finding their rhythm as Wade Bradley and Craig Dowden both starting to really work through these lineups.
Dowden, the quick right-hander, goes into the wind. His pitch is an off-speed inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Brad Cobb gives the sign to his pitcher. Dowden has allowed 2 hits through 2 1/3 innings. Here's the pitch, swung on, popped up. Catcher comes out into foul territory, called off by his third baseman, goes back into fair territory to make the catch. And lots of infield pop-ups in this game as the batter's still having trouble getting around on the fastballs.
That's exactly why, Kevin. These guys just can't get around on these 2 pitches fastballs. This is can't emphasize enough an impressive pitcher duel between 2 13, 14-year-olds.
Wade Bradley is now the batter, facing his counterpart on the mound, Craig Dowden. Bradley doubled his last time up but was caught stealing third base. Bradley maybe tried to do a little bit too much in that first inning. Stepping off is Craig Dowden, now set to face Bradley, who is a left-handed batter. Cobb gives the sign. The wind and the pitch. Swung on, grounded to the shortstop Pierce on 2 hops. He has it on to first. And South Carolina goes down 1-2-3 here in the 3rd inning. We go to the 4th with your score, 0-0. Louisiana versus South Carolina from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. You're listening to our live broadcast of the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. Back with more exciting baseball action for you after this.
When it comes to fast food, I don't know what's true. I got the fast food blues. When you want to lose the fast food blues, it's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. A taste that's right, so healthy and light. It's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. Chase the fast food blues away at Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. America's lightest fast food. Chicken so tender, made fresh for you. Tastes so good is what you say when you come on in to Chick-fil-A. When you want to lose the fast food blues, it's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. It's healthy and light with a taste that's right. It's Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. Chase the fast food blues away at Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And we go to the 4th inning, Louisiana versus South Carolina. Terry Lawrence, Chris Broadus, and Jeremy Farrer, spots 4, 5, and 6 for Louisiana against Wade Bradley, trying to do some damage and get on the board first here in the 4th inning. And James Windham, my broadcast partner, I'm Kevin Holden. And Jamie, what a classic pitching duel.
Well, I'm a bit surprised. You do expect to see the 2 best pitchers in a game like this, but I can't imagine that there's anybody better in the tournament than these 2 young men pitching right now. Craig Dowden for Louisiana and Wade Bradley for South Carolina, both pitching masterful ball games, and both showing terrific fastballs, but also great instincts, great pitching instincts, and that shows a lot of maturity for their age.
And they are setting down the hitters, and these are 2 very good offensive ball clubs. Tough to shut down. Between them, Jamie, they have combined for 95 runs in their games here at the Dixie Boys World Series Tournament. Lots of double-digit offensive games for both teams, including Louisiana's 10-0 victory over Tennessee earlier today.
Just underscores all the more how impressive these 2 pitchers have been tonight.
Number 10, Terry Lawrence.
Here's Terry Lawrence, the cleanup batter for Louisiana, awaiting the first pitch from Wade Bradley. It's a fastball, and it's a called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Terry Lawrence grounded back to the mound his first time up. Richie Smith gives the sign to his pitcher. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, swung on, grounded on 1 hop. Good play from Devin Johnson, over to first, out number 1.
And all this talk about how good the pitching has been, we haven't mentioned how good the defense has been for both ball clubs. That's a fine play by Devin Johnson. The throw was a little bit high, but not too much for Wes McCombs to handle at first base.
Only 1 error has been committed in this game. That was committed by Stacy Scholl. the South Carolina second baseman, on a questionable call that could have been a base hit or an error, but Wade Bradley pitched out of that jam. Here's the wind and the first pitch to Chris Broadus, swung on and fouled off to the right and out of play.
And what really made that one error ruled an error was that he made a great play to get to the ball. He had plenty of time to throw out the runner and made a bad throw. So it was good defense that set up the error.
Only one hit from Louisiana in this game, only 2 hits from South Carolina. Smith flashes the sign, the wind of the pitch inside, a ball and a strike. Chris Broadus flied out to the right fielder, Trey Spightner, who made a nice play. That was back in the second inning. Bradley into his wind, his 1-1 pitch is inside, 2-1. On deck is Jeremy Farrer, and Jeremy has an interesting distinction. As Bradley goes into the wind and the 2-1 pitch is fouled off, 2-2. Jeremy Farrer has the distinction of being the only batter in the last 2 games that Wade Bradley has given a base on balls. Farrer received his base on balls in the second inning, but he was stranded right there at first base. Here's the 2-2 pitch, low, 3-2. And a good 2-2 pitch from Bradley. Starting the off-speed pitch below the hitter's waist, then dropping it down below his knees. But Chris Broadus not biting there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The wind of the pitch swung on, drilled into right field. It will fall in for a base hit, bobbled by Trey Spite to the right fielder. But holding it first is Chris Broadus.
And Kevin, that's only the second hit of the game that Louisiana has been able to manage against Wade Bradley.
With a runner at first and 1 down, here is Jeremy Farrer. Farrer playing right field in tonight's game after catching in the afternoon game. Louisiana has had at least 1 base runner on in each inning, but they have yet to score. There's a called strike on the inside part, 0-1. Devin Johnson playing in shallow at third base against Jeremy Farrer. Broadus takes his lead. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed, 0-2.
And Farrer was fooled on that one. You missed that one by a good couple of feet. That's what we're seeing. You mentioned a lot of fly balls on the infield, a lot of pop-ups. A lot of batters looking kind of foolish up there against these 2 guys.
You could tell that Farrer was expecting the fastball when he saw the off-speed pitch, trying to keep his weight back, still couldn't do it. 0-2 pitch is fouled off, count remains 0-2. And that's what separates the great pitchers from the so-so pitchers, is that excellent breaking ball that has that hitter's timing way off and has those hitters way out in front. 0-2 the count as Broadus takes his lead at first base. Here is the 0-2 pitch, swung on, grounded down the third base line, but foul. Count remains 0-2.
To add to your point, Kevin, you've got to have more than 1 pitch to get this far.
You most certainly do, and you have to mix those pitches well, because it comes down to this. Pitching is a matter of upsetting timing, just as hitting is a matter of timing.
And these guys are good hitters. They're able to, as we saw in the Tennessee game against Frost, Cody Frost, they were able to sit back and wait on a good pitch.
0-2 pitch is swung and fouled off to the right and out of play. Count remains 0-2. These guys don't get cheated at the plate, and you notice the teams that advanced far in this tournament were the teams that were hacking just at every available opportunity, sort of reminiscent in the major leagues of the Philadelphia Phillies, who are probably the most aggressive offensive ball club I have ever seen. Stretched by Wade Bradley and his 0-2 pitch, swung on, grounded foul down the third baseline. Just got a piece of the off-speed pitch. Count remains 0-2, and staying alive is Jeremy Farrer.
And with 1 man out here in the 4th inning, Louisiana not trying anything fancy on the base paths. They are a conservative station-to-station ball club, and we haven't. We don't see Chris Broadus breaking down at first base. He's staying right where he is.
Bradley with the stretch, and the 0-2 pitch swung on again, fouled down the first baseline. Farrer just fouling pitches off, looking for something that he can drive. No balls and 2 strikes the count. 1 down, as we mentioned, we're in the top of the 4th inning. Scoreless from City Pond Complex. An excellent championship game as South Carolina taking on Louisiana. The stretch from Bradley, the 0-2 pitch swung on, popped up into shallow center field. Center fielder charging hard, will be called off by the shortstop, and he drops the ball. And so runners will be at first and second. Confusion on that play as to who was going to get the ball.
Indeed it was, and it was a great job of hitting by Jeremy Farah, who fouled off everything until he got a pitch he wanted. He didn't get real good wood on it. He hit it pretty high in the air, but it was a well-placed ball that dropped right in between three outfielders for a base hit.
Who do you give the error on that play?
Did it touch anybody?
Looked like it touched the shortstop from my vantage point.
Okay, I didn't think it did, so I was going to give him a base hit. I thought it dropped in between the three players, but
just as easy to give him a base hit as an error. In fact, I believe that's what the official score is going to give him, is a base hit. So first and second with one down. And the batter will be Steve Knotts. Knotts with the unusual batting stance keeps his 2 feet very close together and then takes a big stride and swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. Knotts flied out to the pitcher in foul territory as last time. Smith gives the sign as the runners take their leads. And the pitch is swung on and driven deep to left center field. Left fielder going back at the wall. This one is gone. You can't put it on the board. A 3-run shot from Steve Knotts in Louisiana. Just like that, taking a 3-0 lead. So the number 7 batter from the Louisiana All-Stars with a 3-run shot puts Louisiana on top.
What a shot by Steve Knotts. And he was so pumped when he drove that ball over the fence. I thought he was going to overtake the runner in front of him. That would have been Jeremy Farah. I thought he was going to overtake him. He was running so fast around, almost passed him right around second base. What a line drive shot by Steve Knotts. Got out of here very quickly.
And that's the number 7 batter in the Louisiana order, and that just goes to prove with these all-star lineups that just the number 3, 4, and 5 batters are not the only batters who can drive the ball out of the ballpark. Cody Frost last night, the number 8 batter, hit a ball out of the ballpark, and tonight a number 7 batter in Steve Knotts drove one over the left center field wall. Time is called, and the South Carolina head coach goes out to talk to his pitcher, Wade Bradley, along with the rest of his infield.
Joey Lawson, the South Carolina manager, coming out to talk to his infield, said a couple of quick words, and that was it. That was a quick conference. But just like that, we've got a different ball game, Kevin. 3-0. Louisiana leads it on a long home run, a shot hit by Steve Knotts.
And that's what happens in a pitcher's duel. One mistake pitch with a couple of runners on base, and one team can jump out to a big advantage. And right now, 3 runs looks like 30 with the pitching of Craig Dowden. Bradley goes into the wind. His first pitch to Brad Cobb is swung on and missed on the off speed, 0-1. Brad Cobb struck out in his first plate appearance in the second inning. And Bradley fires the 0-1 pitch, which is high, a ball and a strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike, pardon me, is the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Getting ahead of myself there. Cobb stands in. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, drilled down the left field line. It'll be a foul ball.
And Brad Cobb got every bit of that one. He pulled it too far foul. But he really turned on that pitch with Wade Bradley, from Wade Bradley. And the South Carolina team a little bit concerned about Bradley now.
Looks like Bradley has gone away from his fastball a little bit more and going with the off-speed pitch. And that off-speed pitch is good, but if you leave it in the strike zone just above the hitter's knees, you're going to get it drilled. And that's what's happened on the 3-run homer by Steve Knotts, plus that hard-hit foul ball off the bat of Brad Cobb.
Through the first 3 innings, Wade Bradley has shown he has a lot of mettle, and this will be a big test for him to see how he can come back after giving up the 3-run homer.
Also a big test for the South Carolina batters, facing Craig Dowden, who has given them only 2 hits. A double by Wade Bradley and a single from Justin Metz. Bradley goes into the wind. Here comes his 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And he went back to the fastball there and blew Cobb away, 2 down.
Good pitch from Wade Bradley. And that ought to help restore a little bit of confidence there.
Another factor that may help is the fact that he is facing the number 9 batter in the Louisiana order, John Roten. Second baseman grounded out to the third baseman for South Carolina, Devin Johnson, his last time up, and Johnson playing in shallow here against Roten. There's a called strike on the outside corner to the left-handed batter, 0-1.
Looks like Bradley's been able to wipe the home run out of his memory and get back to what he's been doing well.
That's what a successful pitcher has to do after giving up the home run. Concentrate on the next hitter. Nothing you can do about that home run. Pitch is inside, a ball and a strike. Being a former left-handed pitcher myself, I can appreciate the good performance by Wade Bradley. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes the count. Of course, as a left-handed pitcher, I would have killed for the skills of a Wade Bradley. Wade goes into the wind, and his 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled to the screen right above us. Count remains 1-2.
And that time, John Roten just threw the bat at the ball to stay alive. Barely got a piece of it, and popped it into the backstop.
No question about Wade Bradley. He has recovered, throwing hard and throwing well. Here's the wind and the 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Used the off-speed pitch to strike out John Roten. That's the 3rd strikeout from Wade Bradley. And Louisiana puts 3 up in the 4th inning on 3 hits, including the 3-run home run by Steve Knotts. No errors, no one left on base. And after 3.5 innings of play, your score is Louisiana 3, South Carolina nothing. You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. It's the championship game, South Carolina taking on Louisiana, and we will be back with more exciting and live play-by-play action for you after this.
Oh, it was terrible. Last night I dreamed that I didn't have HBO. I turned on the television, and all the movies had commercials every 15 minutes. The series were old and had been in syndication since 1976. It was horrible. I tried every channel, but it was hopeless. I couldn't find HBO. But then I woke up. I ran to my TV, and there it was, HBO, with uncut and uninterrupted movies like A League of Their Own, Mo Money, Whispers in the Dark, and Strapped, an HBO original movie, plus top comedy series like Dream On and The Larry Sanders Show starring Gary Sandling, not to mention World Championship Boxing and Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam. Believe me, having HBO is a dream come true, but trying to live without it is a nightmare. So wake up and get HBO.
Call Covington Cable TV 787-4444. 787-4444. And in the Braves game, it's the bottom of the 8th, Atlanta 8, New York 1.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Kevin Holden and James Windham with you. And in the bottom half of the 4th inning, South Carolina will send to the plate Richie Smith, Devin Johnson, and Justin Metz. 4, 5, and 6 spots in the South Carolina order, who have a lot of work to do against Craig Dowden, down 3 runs.
And Kevin, we were talking during the break about how easy through the first part of this tournament it was to remember that these are 13 and 14-year-olds out here playing ball. They usually make a mistake that would give away their age. Not tonight, buddy, not tonight.
No mistakes whatsoever. Pitch is low and inside, 1 ball and no strikes. And we've seen 2 things that have made the difference. Good defense, as we mentioned, and terrific pitching. A pitcher's duel between Bradley and Dowden, and right now 1 mistake pitch is the difference in the game. Here's the wind from Craig Dowden, and his 1-0 pitch is swung on and grounded down the third baseline. Fielded by Chris Broadus to first for out number 1.
Another fine play by the Louisiana defense. Chris Broadus making that play to his right, going toward the third base line, was able to come up with it, and he has a gun for an arm out there at third base, and able to throw out Richie Smith by a step.
Here's Devin Johnson, South Carolina third baseman, walked in the 2nd inning. He was stranded at 3rd, and that's something you've got to point to as a big thing for South Carolina. They had 3 runners on in the 2nd inning and left them all stranded there. Great job of pitching from Dowden to get out of the jam, but South Carolina's got to be kicking themselves now that they're down 3 runs. Johnson is a right-handed batter. He stands in and takes the first pitch high, a ball and no strikes.
It was a good job of pitching by Craig Dowden back in the 2nd inning to get, he had bases loaded with 1 man out. Since then, as the 1-0 comes in and so going fouled at the plate. Since then, Kevin, Dowden has settled down and has retired 6 straight.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Devin Johnson. Looks at his third base coach for the sign. And he stands back in. Brad Cobb flashes the sign for Louisiana to his pitcher. And Dowden goes into the wind as 1-1 pitch is outside with a fastball, 2-1. And the crowd has not lost any intensity. You know, with each play, these folks are still making lots of noise. Two balls and a strike to Johnson. And Craig Dowden delivers. Called strike outside corner, 2-2. The wind has pretty much died down here on field number 1 at the City Pond Complex. No wind blowing whatsoever. It was blowing to right field before. In fact, the only day that we really had the bad wind was the day after our rain showers on Saturday. And on Sunday we had a lot of wind in that game. And some wind-blown homers there as well. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And down on strikes is Devin Johnson. As the ball gets away from Brad Kaufman, he applies the tag. It's a strikeout, 2 unassisted on the putout. And with 2 down, here is Justin Metz.
That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Craig Dowden.
Now batting the left fielder, number 17, Justin Metz.
Here is Justin Metz. Single in the 2nd inning in his only plate appearance. Dowden stares in at his catcher. He winds and fires high. 1 ball and no strikes. An interesting note on Craig Dowden. He has allowed only 2 pop fly outs. And 1 was to the catcher and 1 was to the 3rd baseman. So no outfield flyouts against Craig Dowden in this game. He's keeping the ball in the infield. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, drilled to left field. Left fielder coming on. It'll bounce in front of him for a base hit. So just as we mentioned that Craig Dowden has been keeping the ball in the infield, we see a drill single to left field.
That's Terry Lawrence in left field coming up with the ball and get it back to the infield. And it was hit right to him, stopped him dead in his tracks, but it bounced in front of him. And that would keep Justin Metz at first base.
And it will bring up Wes McCombs. First baseman looking for his first official at bat. He was hit by a pitch in the left shoulder back in the 2nd inning. That loaded the bases. Lob throw over to first base, and Justin Metz is back safely.
Very good possibility that Justin Metz will be running and trying to get in scoring position here.
First pitch is low, a ball and no strikes to Wes McCombs. Chris Broadus at 3rd base for Louisiana, playing deep and behind the bag. With 2 down, he can afford to do that as the runner takes his lead off first base. Metz is going with the pitch, fakes the bunt, pulls it back. Did it hit him? It did not hit him. They may call it a foul ball.
I think it was just a passed ball.
And the runner will move back to first base, as apparently the ball did hit Wes McCombs' bat. And time is called, and the Louisiana head coach goes out to visit his pitcher, Craig Dowden.
That's a bad break for South Carolina. Right there, Wes Combs was showing the bunt, and as he was pulling the bat away, the ball came inside and hit his bat. And had that not happened, Justin Metz would have been standing on second base easily.
So the count is a ball and 1 strike. And Wes McCombs with 2 down, trying to do something with that runner at first base as the South Carolinians are down by 3. The conference is over. And the Louisiana coach flashes the sign to his catcher, who in turn flashes it to his pitcher. The stretch, 1-1 pitch, swung on, popped up, shortstop. Jeff Pierce calls for it and makes the catch for out number 3. For South Carolina, in the 4th inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. After 4, 3-0 in favor of Louisiana. You're listening to our live coverage of the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series, and we're happy to bring it to you on the Dixie Boys Radio Network. We'll be back with more exciting play-by-play action after this.
Staying in tune with the community we serve is what public power is all about. Keeping a musical instrument in tune takes special skills. That's also true here at the City of Covington Electric System. We are constantly fine-tuning our electric service to better meet your needs. Public power systems belong to the people they serve. Everyone has a say in how the utility can best serve the community. That makes a big difference in the rate you pay and the service you get. Public power is not run to make a profit. All the benefits stay in this community where they belong. Because the City of Covington electric system stays in tune with your needs, it's one of this community's greatest assets. Look at public power in a new light. After all, it's yours.
Carroll Home Healthcare is growing fast thanks to you folks who have allowed us to meet your home hospital equipment needs. We've just added a respiratory therapist to better serve our oxygen patients. We've also added enteral feeding to our services and expanded our in-store inventory. When you need anything related to home care equipment from oxygen to walker tips, come in and see why our customers talk about the family feeling they get doing business here. We're in Covington Plaza next to McDonald's. Carroll Home Healthcare, 786-2030. The family folks. You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And we head to the fifth inning as Louisiana taking on South Carolina, and the Louisiana All-Stars, who hail from Bossier, Louisiana, have a 3-run lead as we head to the fifth inning. Craig Dowden, Brandon Shane, and Jeff Pierce, the first 3 spots due up for Louisiana here in the fifth inning.
The boys from Bossier are bedecked in purple and gold, wearing white uniforms with purple numbers and gold trim. South Carolina going with navy blue pants with white stripes down the side, gray tops with a copy of the South Carolina state flag on their sleeves.
And South Carolina's uniforms sort of look like softball uniforms, to be totally honest with you. Look like something you might see in one of those softball leagues.
Louisiana looks like their flagship university, Louisiana State University. Same colors.
Craig Dowden standing in. He is 1 for 2 with a double. First pitch is a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. We mentioned this earlier, the Louisiana fans put a sign up on their first base dugout that says Louisiana's best, the Bossier Boys. The 0-1 pitch is high, a ball and a strike. Richie Smith gives the sign to his pitcher, Wade Bradley, who winds and delivers. Called strike on the outside corner, 1-2. Johnson is in shallow at third base. As Bradley fires the 1-2 pitch, it's low, 2-2. Dowden batting from the right side of the plate, takes the 2-2 pitch low, 3-2.
Kevin, we may have to start calling the third baseman for South Carolina Devin Johnson. Look at him standing there on right on the grass with the leadoff hitter for Louisiana.
3-2 pitch is swung on, popped into foul territory. First baseman Wes McCombs will call for it, and he'll make the catch for out number 1.
Now batting the first baseman, number 13.
Devin, I like it.
Well, it was, with Devin Johnson, normally against a leadoff hitter, that's the place you want to be. But we saw Craig Dowden show some great power with that double that he hit to left field back in the third inning.
Brandon Shane is the batter, and the first pitch to him is over his head, a ball and no strikes. By the way, that's your pun limit for tonight. Brandon Shane, lefty against lefty in this matchup. Wade Bradley for South Carolina goes into the wind, and his 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed, a ball and a strike. Shane is 0 for 2. He's reached on an error and flied out to the shortstop.
Wade Bradley showing he hasn't lost anything here in the fifth inning. Good high fastball.
Smith with the sign. Here's the wind and the 1-1 pitch. Low and outside with the off speed, 2-1. Wade Bradley going into the wind. The 2-1 pitch is a called strike inside corner, 2-2. For Louisiana, 3 runs. They have 4 hits, 3 of them coming back to back to back, 2 singles and a home run. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on, popped up, shortstop. John S. Benson calls for it, makes the catch. S. Benson now with 3 putouts. And that'll bring up Jeff Pierce, Louisiana second baseman, making it the Louisiana shortstop, who is 0 for 2.
That's the 6th pop fly on the infield recorded by Wade Bradley in the South Carolina defense.
That shows that those Louisiana batters are getting under that high fastball as the pitch comes in high, a ball and no strikes.
2 of those pop flies coming here in the 5th inning. Hasn't lost anything, Bradley.
1-0 pitch is swung on and foul, tipped into the catcher's mitt. A ball and a strike to the Louisiana shortstop, wearing number 14. Takes his practice cut and he stands in. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. And Bradley going after Pierce with a high heat. 1-2.
That high fastball is an impressive pitch.
Tough to lay off.
Impossible to lay off.
Bradley into the wind. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and foul, tipped. And with the strikeout, Wade Bradley coming back after giving up that home run in the 4th inning. He has set down 5 in a row. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left for Louisiana in the 5th inning. And we head to the bottom half of the 5th with your score. Louisiana 3, South Carolina nothing. You're listening to our live coverage of the championship game of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series. More of Louisiana versus South Carolina after these messages.
County, now you have a choice. That choice is Rockdale Team Sports, located in Salem Gate Shopping Center in Conyers. Rockdale Team Sports provides you with everything you'll need for baseball, softball, basketball, football, and soccer. Take advantage of our fast in-house custom lettering and screen printing. We also offer low prices, friendly service, and a complete uniform service. Rockdale Team Sports would like to congratulate all the participants in this year's Little League World Series, and especially the city of Covington.
At Food Depot, we invite you to try a new and better way of doing business. You buy the groceries at our cost, plus 10%. This week's specials include large crisp lettuce, 68 cents a head. Thompson seedless white grapes, 78 cents a pound. Soft and gentle bathroom tissue, a 4-pack for only 78 cents. Half a gallon of assorted flavors of Mayfield ice cream for only $1.79. A 4-pack of Flavor-Right biscuits, sweet milk or buttermilk, 83 cents. USDA heavy western boneless round steak, $1.65 a pound. Fresh quarter loin pork chops, $1.59 a pound. And quality hamburger or hot dog buns, a 12-pack, only 63 cents. Food Depot in Covington, Conyers, and Stockbridge.
The Braves are in the bottom of the 8th. The score, Atlanta 8, New York 4.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
The Braves have a lead, and so do the All-Stars from Bossier, Louisiana, as we clear our throats and get ready for the bottom half of the 5th inning of play. Again, the Braves are leading 8-4 in the bottom half of the 8th inning over the New York Mets. South Carolina will send to the plate in the 5th inning Trey Spidner, John S. Benson, and Bobby Kaufman. Trey Spidner struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. Dowden goes into the wind. His first pitch is swung and fouled back to the screen, 0-1.
South Carolina desperately probing for a weakness in Craig Dowden. It's getting late in the ball game here in the 5th inning. They're down by 3.
South Carolina has managed only 3 hits, 2 of those off the bat of Justin Metz. The wind and the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, 0-2.
Dowden showing that he has every bit as much on the high fastball as Wade Bradley does at this point in the game.
Yeah, Dowden has matched Bradley pitch for pitch, as we talked about during the break. And there's only been a 1-pitch difference, that being a high fastball to Steve Knotts, which went over the left center field wall. 0-2 pitch hit him,
and that
in the ribs on the left side. And Spigner is smarting as he heads down to first base.
That was the heat, that was the gas, that was the cheese, and you know that one hurt. But as Ernie Johnson would say, he's not going to.
Now batting the shortstop, number 16.
Second batter that Craig Dowden has hit in today's game, and it will bring up John S. Benson.
Spigner has good speed at first base. Be looking for him to go. South Carolina tries to generate some offense.
S. Benson has yet to hit in this game, as a pinch hitter was inserted for S. Benson in the 2nd inning, but he re-entered for defense in the 3rd. Runner going with the first pitch. The throw will not be made, as Brad Cobb had some trouble getting it out of his glove, and so a stolen base for Trey Spidner.
And Cobb, it didn't matter, Cobb with a good arm there behind the plate. Spidner had too good a jump. He's too quick a runner, and Cobb just really didn't have a play. It was a good thing he held on to it.
John Roten is standing right on the second base bag. He's the second baseman for Louisiana. Standing right there, holding the runner. Now goes back to his position as the first pitch is swung and grounded back to the mound. They will go to second as they got the runner hung up. Shortstop fires to the third baseman, and the third baseman still has him in the rundown, and the throw to second base. He is out.
1-6-3-4.
And so Spigner is retired, and S. Benson reaches on the fielder's choice.
Good play by the Louisiana defense to catch Trey Spigner there. A lot of fans don't think that call was the accurate call, but it certainly looked like they had him. They had him caught in the rundown. Spigner was off base. He didn't do anything wrong, really. It was just a good defensive play by Craig Dowden and the left side of the Louisiana infield.
So Dowden with a chance to get out of the jam now with a runner at first and one down. That being the number 9 batter, John S. Benson. Throw over to first base, and he is back on his stomach. Bobby Kaufman is the batter who is 0 for 2. Hasn't been able to catch up to the fastball. He struck out of the first inning and popped out to the catcher in the third. Stretch and the pitch swung on and missed at the high fastball, 0-1. Come on, Bobby!
And again, both pitchers showcasing that high fastball tonight.
S. Benson taking his lead off first base, taking a pretty good lead down there now. And a throw goes over, and again he dives back safely. Bobby Kaufman, right-handed batter, the leadoff batter for South Carolina, swings at a pitch and drives it into deep left field. Left fielder heads back on it now and makes the catch. Terry Lawrence with the catch. And headed back to second base is the runner who had absolutely no idea that he was supposed to be going back to first base. And we'll talk about that play when we come back, as the runner stayed at second base instead of heading back to first, and we're not exactly sure why, but we'll check on it. You are listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series from City Pond Complex in Covington, Georgia. We head to the 6th. Louisiana 3, South Carolina nothing. Back with more exciting baseball action after this.
It's time for the hot summer clearance sale at Lane Body Shop and Marine on new and previously owned pontoons. Used pontoons starting at $3,500 and closeout prices on new pontoons. Javelin bass boats with Evinrude motors, flat bottom aluminum boats, and pedal boats. Plus clearance prices on all Evinrude outboard motors in stock. Hurry and buy before the 94s arrive and save. Lane Body Shop and Marine is your local boat headquarters, located at 12247 Flat Shoals Road in Covington. Phone number 786-7405 or 787-2060.
County, now you have a choice. That choice is Rockdale Team Sports, located in Salem Gate Shopping Center in Conyers. Rockdale Team Sports provides you with everything you'll need for baseball, softball, basketball, football, and soccer. Take advantage of our fast in-house custom lettering and screen printing. We also offer low prices, friendly service, and a complete uniform service. Rockdale Team Sports would like to congratulate all the participants in this year's Little League World Series, and especially the city of Covington.
You're listening to our live coverage of the 1993 Dixie Boys World Series here on your local sports leader, WGFS AM 1430, Covington.
And we are back. We head to the 6th inning and a defensive change for the All-Stars from the state of South Carolina, as Louisiana sends up Terry Lawrence, Chris Broadus, and Jeremy Ferrer here in the 6th inning. You have our defensive change?
That's right, Kevin. Michael Hicks goes into right field for Trey Spigner.
So Trey Spigner leaving the game, and Trey Wilson is here with us. And Trey